to the IUCLID webinar about web user interface for Biocides submissions. In case you have any trouble with connecting audio, here on the slide you see instruction how to solve the problem. Also, you can during the whole webinar submit the question via Q&A panel, and our expert will help you to solve the problem with audio. The Q&A panel, you can post your questions during the entire webinar, and before the Q&A session we will give you additional 5 minutes to send additional questions. Questions will be answered privately, so you will not see each other's questions and answer. And at the end of the webinar, we will answer the most frequently asked questions. And all your questions will be kept anonymous. After the webinar, we will publish the recording, the presentation, and the Q&A session in written document on the IUCLID 6 website and on the ECA website. Here is the agenda for today. After the short introduction on the web user interface, we will go to the Biocides submissions, and we will then demonstrate the improvement on the comparison tool and the report generator. I'm Dorota Burchard-Sosnowska. In the IUCLID team, I'm responsible for Biocides features and functionalities, and I will share the floor with my colleague Mark Roberts. At the end of the webinar, we will answer the questions, and also we will tell you what are our plans for the next release in October 2019. So now start with the introduction to the April release. We published new IUCLID version on the 24th of April, and you can find the description of this release on the IUCLID 6 website. Also on 29th of April, we had the webinar that describing this release, and we kindly recommend you to watch the webinar and to read the Q&A session. This is published on IUCLID website. As a reminder, we have one IUCLID software, but this is distributed in different ways. So the first one is a desktop for single user that work on their own database and on their own computer. The other one is the server, hosted on the server shared with multiple users, which is very good in case of the company or one organization. There is also the third one, ECA Cloud Services, but this is the one that are used by the user working under REACH and CLP legislations. So today's webinar is a follow-up of the release webinar on 29th of April, and it's focused on the functionalities and features of web user interface in context of Biocides. And we hope that it will help you to switch to the web user interface smoothly, as the classic interface is going to be phased out. We kindly ask you to share with us any questions related to the switch to the web user interface during the whole webinar, and also after webinar via the help desks. Your comments will help us to improve the tool and adjust our transition plans. At the moment, web user interface offers you the possibility to create the full Biocides dossier from scratch, including substance and mixture products datasets. You can use the most of the IUCLID functionalities. You can compare dossier, you can create different reports, and also anytime when you are working in web user interface, you can switch to the classic user interface if you need to use more advanced functionalities. We recommend you to use as much as you can the web user interface and switch to the classic user interface only if you need to use the features that are not yet implemented in the web user interface. Both interfaces use the same database, so if you insert any changes in web user interface, they will be visible also in the classic user interface. And at the end of the our webinar, Mark will tell you about the plans for 2019 release. Let's focus now on the Biocides submissions. As a reminder, I'm showing here the Biocides dossier structure. So the main element of the dossier is always biocidal product dataset. To this biocidal product dataset, you link datasets of substances, active substance and other substances, and the dossier is created always and only on the biocidal product dataset. In the more complex scenario, we can also have the mixtures as a component. For example, if the active substance is in the mixture, then also mixture needs to be linked to the biocidal product dataset, and again, dossier is made only on the biocidal product dataset. So how to start? I will show you now step by step how to create a BPR dossier. Firstly, you need to go to the dashboard, and there is a mixtures widget. You click on it, and then you see the button new mixture product. So you click on it, you select the mixture product name, and the new mixture open. The first thing you need to do is to select the correct submission type. This is very important because, as you see now, on the left side on the board, you see complete table of contents, which is not in line with Annex 3 of BPR. So only when you select the correct submission type, you will see here the correct table of contents. There are two submission types on which you can create biocidal product dossier. Those are BPR active substance application representative product and BPR biocidal product authorization. There is also submission type basic information mixture, which is relevant for mixture containing substances. Once the submission type is selected, the dossier header pop-up window opens, and you can edit here dossier header to reuse it later. The crucial part of the biocidal product dataset is a biocidal product composition. You need to link here all the components, so all the substances and mixture if relevant. So you start to do it by selecting new item and clicking on the name of the substance. You select the substance from the list, and then the window will open that will allow you to search for the substance. So you can search by substance name, by EC number, CAS number, UPAC name, and every time you need to provide 3 characters in the search field to make the search happen. It might happen also that you won't find the substance you want because it's not in your database yet. In this case, you can create a substance directly here. So as you remember, in classic UI it wasn't possible. Here you don't need to leave the mixture product dataset to create the component you need. And so you will see the button create. You click on it, and there is a window create substance opened. And here those are the data that usually you insert in section 2.1, so identification of the substance. Some fields are mandatory. This is substance name and legal entity, and only if you populate those fields you can save. And please remember, always save the data when you finish to insert them. Anytime when you are in the mixture product composition, you can open the dataset component. So you just click on the name of the substance, and then you can open the window with the substance. Here you can see the data on substance identification, so section 2.1. And if you want to open the whole substance dataset and insert more information, you need to use the option Go to Source in the right top corner. If you click this option Go to Source, there will be new tab created with active substance there, or substance, and you can you can provide information in parallel for biocidal product and for the substance, what was not possible in classic UI. So here we have a big improvement, and it's much easier. Now I will tell you how to provide the data, how to work with the dataset. So in case of substance, the same as for mixture product, you start always by selecting the submission type. Here on the left, you can see that the table of content is not yet in line in Annex 2 of the BPR. So once you select the submission type, it will be in line. What are the submission types relevant for substances? So first of all, BPR active substance information, then BPR microorganism, basic information substance, and substance of concern. BPR microorganism is a new submission type provided to you last autumn, and its function is also active substance. So here you can see that I selected already submission type, and my table of content is in line in Annex 2 of the BPR. And also the pop-up window for dossier header opens, but here I just close it because for Biocides you never create a dossier based on the substance, always based on the mixture product. So dossier header here is not relevant for you. Now a few remarks about editing data. We inserted now inline editing. So you don't need to switch to the edit mode. You can just insert the information in the fields. With every field you have small question mark. When you click on it, there will be help text displayed with some advice what type of data should be inserted, or how the fields should be used. And always remember to save data after filling the fields. You can also set up the confidentiality flag. There are some small icons with the flag, and also with the confidentiality, you can reuse the existing templates, so the predefined text, which is hidden under the small icon with letter A. In several places in the dataset, you will see the option New Item. This is to add new record or new identifier, and in this case you will always have the items numbered, and you will have the help text to guide you through what kind of data should be filled in. When editing substance dataset, you will need to insert reference substance. So you can search for the reference substance in a similar way as for a substance. You need to type 3 characters, and it might be reference substance name, EC number, CAS number, or UPAC name. You can also create here new reference substance being in the substance dataset. When you need to fill the data or create a new endpoint, new record, you always have a choice. You can create new document from scratch, or you can copy from existing, reuse the existing one. Here there is an example of section 3, appearance, and you can see that when I click on the copy from existing, I have the list of 3 endpoints. 2 of them are prepared for mixture product, 1 is prepared for substance. I can select which one I would like to reuse, and later on I can of course modify it to adapt better to my needs. This functionality is especially good for biocidal product families. When you need to prepare a lot of products, it's very good to copy the existing ones and edit. You can also attach the attachment in 2 places. First is predefined fields. So here is a very straightforward. You can see option select files. You select whatever file you need, and then it's displayed with the name and the format of the file. And also, if there is a possibility to attach more than one attachment, you can see the numbers of the attachment. You can also attach the attachments, the files, to the whole endpoint record, and in the top right corner you will see the icon. You click, you upload the file, and then you also click on this icon to see the attachment relevant for this document. That was the most common way of preparing the biocidal product dataset and substance dataset inside of it. But also you can start from other point. You can firstly prepare your all substance datasets and then link them to the biocidal product dataset. In this way, you need to go to the dashboard to click on the substances widget and create new substance. Fill the name, and then the substance will be created, and the next steps will be the same as the one I presented already. In the mixture product dataset, we keep all the links between documents that were already used in classic UI. So we have possibility to link different documents to biocidal product composition, to biocidal product composition summary used for families, and to intended use. It allows to indicate for which products and for which meta species the provided document is relevant. And also, in case of generation of the summary of product characteristic report, it allows to retrieve data correctly, because to retrieve them correctly, you need to put the link in section 7.1, so intended uses, and 12.1, so packaging. And classification and labeling. So here we have three examples of the reference fields. The first of those examples is a very interesting one, is product compositions, quite new features implemented last autumn. This is the place when you link all products within the family. And composition records, summary, and intended use record cannot be deleted before the link is removed from the reference field. So you will see now the message that the document could not be deleted, and this message will be improved in the October 2019 release, so it will be more explanatory. It will give more information. Here there is a schema of all possible connection between documents, and also all endpoint study records in section 3 to 6 and 8 to 10 can be linked to the documents visible on the schema, to other endpoint study records, and to other endpoint summaries via the cross-referent fields. This field is in every endpoint. There is a big improvement when you compare with the classic UI. If you don't find the reference document, you can create it at the moment of linking. So that was not possible in classic UI. Here, for example, there is a section 7.6 directions for use. You would like to link intended use, so you select this option, but you see that there is no document found. It means that no intended use exists, and you don't need to leave this place when you are now in the Euclid. You just click create, and you can click the intended use here and fill the data here. So that's much easier in the classic than in the classic UI. Here we reach the point to start the dossier creation. So let's say that we have our mixture product data set ready. The submission type has to be indicated. If not, the button create dossier won't be active. And then you will see the dossier header information that you inserted at the beginning displayed here. And you can create dossier immediately, or you can use the advanced setting which are available under the icon with 3 dots at the bottom. And then you can, for example, decide if you want to include legal entity, if you want to include the fields that are marked as confidential, or for example, if you want to include annotations. And also there are more features under advanced setting. And also the important thing, existing validation rules are checked automatically at the moment of the dossier creation. So if there is no any failure in the validation rules, you will see the message dossier creation was completed successfully, and you can select to open the dossier to see it. If it's happened that there was the failure in the validation rule, you will be informed about it, and you will have a choice: or you continue with dossier creation, which is of course not recommended, or you view and fix or all reported errors. Here there is an example of the message in biocidal product composition. The substance, the dataset, was not correctly inserted. In the case there is a failure, you have possibility to click on the name of the record when the failures occurred. Here is biocidal product composition 001, so you click on it, and you open this relevant section, which is in this case composition. You in the composition you see the repeated message, what is wrong, and you can scroll down and check if the substance dataset has been correctly assigned. If not, you assign, and then the error is fixed, and you can validate. Of course, you have possibility to validate data before the dossier creation. So as you see here in the bottom, there is a button validate. Just next to create a dossier, you can do it on data before you create a dossier. Now let's see the validation, the navigation through the dossier. When you go to the mixture widgets on the dashboard, you will see all mixture product. They are now not grouped, so dossier and dataset are displayed separately, and all dossiers are marked with the padlock. When you click on the selected dossier, you will see the product name. You will see the dossier UID just under the product name, and you can also view all dossiers that have been created based on the same dataset, and you can go to the product dataset when you use the option go to source. What are the actions that you can perform on the BPR dossier? As I mentioned, you can validate, you can also export IUCLID file, you can print to PDF, you can generate report, and you can compare two dossiers. Also, when you are in the composition in the dossier, biocidal product composition, you have two possibilities. When you click on the substance, you can open the component. This opens the substance dataset in view mode only, as it is in the dossier, and you also can go here to source, and this is the source dataset opens. You can edit, and you can use it in other mixture product. You can, of course, the companies are receiving the annotations from the competent authorities. You can import those annotations, and they will always be stored with the relevant dossier. So it's important that you keep the dossier submitted in your database in case you receive the annotation, so they will be assigned to the correct dossier. And all the annotations important will be displayed on the dossier header of the dossier. They will be also, if there are annotations on the specific endpoints records, they will be also displayed in the relevant section, not only on the dossier header, but in the endpoints or in the records, and you can access them clicking on the annotation icon in the top right corner. And the last information about the dossier, how to search. So you can search dossier through the UUID on the dashboard, and you can search by the mixture product name, providing the 3 characters from the name. Now we will see what are the improvements for the comparison tool. A comparison tool has been in use for quite a long time. And but I would like to take this opportunity and remind for what you can use the comparison tool. So you can easily check what has been updated in the dossier. You can verify whether all changes required by competent authorities have been addressed, for example, those provided via annotations. And also here you can share the report with the competent authorities. And I think it's very useful for biocidal product family to easily check which compositions, which product has been modified, added, or deleted. Improved dossier comparison tool compares two dossiers and check what is different or identical between all dossiers entities, all section documents, and all fields. And the comparison tool provides you a comparison report in the HTML format. And in this report, you can see all fields which are found to be different, and you can also navigate easily between different parts of the report. So here you can see when you are in when you open the dossier and you would like to compare this dossier with other one. Under three dots you have the option compare. You click on it and then the side window will open, and you will see here all dossiers that they have the same dossier subject listed, and by default there is the option show only dossiers relevant for the same product. So the next step, you select from this list the dossier you would like to compare. After a while you will have the dossier comparison report, and first you see the dossier, so the source dossier and the target dossier with some basic information, so you know what you compare. Then there is a dossier contents, and here we analyze dossier headers, which is always different, mixture, substances, legal entity, reference substances, contacts, and literature references. And you can see if it's identical or different. If it is different, you can go to the next level when you see what exactly is different. Here we had a difference in the mixture, and now we can see that this difference is the mixture composition in the first product from the family. And we can see then on the field level content differences that this is the difference in the trade names. And here there are some examples what we compare. For example, we compare the attachments, we compare the checkbox if it's true or false, and we also compare the content of the pick list. So here I will give the floor to my colleague Mark Roberts, who will tell you about the improvement for report generators.
Thank you, Dorothy. Hello everyone, my name is Mark Roberts. I work in the Euclid team here in ECHA. I would like to take you through today the report generator. We will briefly recap what the report generator is. I will highlight for you some of the key reports used by Biocides users. And I'll give you some updates on where to find more information about this tool. And finally, I'll give you an update on the plans we have for 2019. So what is the report generator? This tool extracts Euclid data in a structured and standalone format, such as RTF, which opens in a Word file, PDF, a CSV file, which opens in Excel, XML, as well as HTML. The report generator contains a number of reports made and added for Biocides users since Euclid 6.1, and we'll go through more of these later. Euclid allows you to manually upload your own report templates, and there's more info on this on the Euclid website, and I'll also touch upon this a bit later as well. So in the April release of Euclid, the full report generator was implemented so that all the reports that are in Euclid can be generated from the web user interface. Here in the slide, you see a comparison between the interfaces. On the left, the classic; on the right, the new web interface. As you see in the web interface, we've clearly laid out all the reports that are available. There's the name of the report, a clear indication of the format which it will be generated in, for instance, PDF, RTF. And this also includes my own uploaded reports or your own uploaded reports if you have uploaded these manually via the classic interface. So all reports are now available to be generated from the web interface. We progressively add reports to this list where there is a business need, and we also update these reports to the latest Euclid format, which currently is Euclid 6.3. To generate a report in the web interface, there are three basic steps. You need to go into your mixture dataset or dossier, which you would like to create a report from. You make sure that the correct submission type is selected. You go to the menu, which is in the screenshot there, and hit Generate Report. This will bring up the list which you just saw, and you choose the report you wish to generate. Note, because you're using a web interface, not all browsers behave in the same way when generating a report. Some have a pop-up window, others are more hidden. So just make sure you're familiar with the web browser you're using. So which reports are relevant to Biocides users? Here's a list of them. I will go through these individually now. On the Euclid website, we have a full description of all these reports if you would like to see more. So firstly, the SPC report. This is a report generated in XML format. This is a machine-readable format because it is designed to extract information for a single product from Euclid and then import this into the SPC editor. Next, there's a report which lists for you the confidentiality claims which are relevant under Article 66.4 of the BPR regulation. There are three formats available for this report. You can view it in RTF format, a CSV format, or a PDF format. The information in this report includes the section for which the confidentiality claim is made, the name of the endpoint where the confidentiality claim is made, and the document UUID for which the confidentiality claim is made. And finally, the justification for the confidentiality claim. This report is mostly used by member state competent authorities, but it is also useful for industry to check what you have flagged as confidential in your Euclid dossier. Next, we have a report of literary references. This report is generated from the main mixture, but also includes any literary references made in any component of that main mixture. This was originally designed for use under the product authorization report so that someone could extract all the literary references and reuse this in their part, which is normally attached to a new product authorization. There is also, however, a CSV version of this literary reference report, and this contains additional information about the endpoint. And here on the right-hand side, I've listed the additional information which is included in the CSV format. So for instance, the type of information, adequacy of study, reliability of the study, more information about the test material used, as well as the confidentiality claim on the endpoint. Next is a report on the list, which lists the attachments for you in your Euclid dossier. Again, like the literary references, this is generated from your main mixture and includes any attachments made in a component of that main mixture. The two formats which this comes in is an RTF format, which opens in Word, as I mentioned, and also a CSV format. The information not only contains the attachment name, the remarks in the attachment, the media type of the attachment, but also includes contextual information about where this attachment is found in your Euclid dossier. So for instance, if it's contained in a particular endpoint, which section this is, as well as giving you the document UUID. There's also a report which lists for you the annotations which are found in your biocidal dossier or dataset. Again, this is generated from the main mixture and includes any component which is attached in the composition of that mixture. The annotations help MSAs and industry to exchange comments on top of Euclid endpoints during the assessment phase of the regulatory process. and this can help to identify where annotations have been made. This is available in RTF and PDF formats. And finally, we have a cross-references report. This is the only report which is not by default found in Euclid, but you can download it from the Euclid webpage. This report shows all endpoints which cross-reference a family or single composition. This report is in CSV format. So just a quick final word on the report generator. You can create and upload your own reports, as well as generate the default reports which you find in the tool. You can do this by creating your own free market template, and more information can be found on this from the report generator webpage of Euclid. And Eka can assist you in creating your own report template if needed. And just contact the Eka help desk if you need some support. As I mentioned for the cross-references report, this is not an inbuilt report, so you will need to download this from the Euclid website and upload it manually via the classic interface. And just contact us if you have an idea about how to improve an existing report. If you have an idea for a new report, which may be useful for many Euclid users, normally we do make a new report if that report brings a lot of added value to many Euclid users, and it's used regularly in a business process of some kind. If you have developed a report on your own independently and you wish to share it with us, we'd be more than glad to hear about that, and we can publish it on the Euclid website for other users to use. And there in front of you are some key addresses for you to go to: the Euclid webpage, the Euclid 6 report generator webpage, as well as the Euclid 6 mailbox. So moving on to the plans for 2019. In October last year, for the first time, we made available both the classic and the web user interface for users in a downloadable package of Euclid. We have continued this in April this year, where we've given you both the classic and the web interface. And in October 2019, we'll be monitoring the use of the web interface and classic interface and making a decision on how to proceed. In all likelihood, we'll be providing both the classic and the web interface again, but we may only provide the functionalities which are not in the web interface as part of the classic interface. So this will mean that most features in the web interface will be available in 2019 in October. For October 2019, these are the remaining features to be implemented in the web interface. We will develop the remaining entity management, which means that you'll be able to manage templates, categories, as well as all the entities which are not currently implemented in the web interface. This includes legal entities, legal entity sites, contacts, test materials. Reference substances you can currently manage in the web interface. We'll also provide the basic search functionality in the web interface. This currently is very limited. You can only search by Dossier UID and do some basic searches in the mixture list, for instance. And this will be expanded for the October release. This includes an expanded search by UID. We will also introduce the document selection in the advanced settings when you're exporting and importing a Euclid file, as well as creating a dossier. For those who are not familiar with this, this means that you can filter the documents which you are exporting and importing. We will also introduce the bulk operations in the web UI, which means that you can copy 2 or more documents, for instance, and you can export documents in bulk, so 2 or more Euclid files. We'll also expand the comparison tool slightly so that you can search by Dossier UID. We'll introduce more validation rules. These rules will be replicating to some degree what's already found in R4BP, and will help you to assess the likelihood that your dossier will pass the business rules here in Eka upfront in your Euclid installation. We'll also introduce the background jobs in the web UI. This will give you an indication of the progress of any action you're performing in Euclid, such as exporting or importing. And more importantly, it will give you the error that's associated with that activity if there is an error. And this will give you an indication of what's gone wrong. We'll also introduce the user profiles so that you can view your user profile in the web UI. And there's a few features that we're not sure will be introduced in October in the web UI. It depends on how fast the development goes. In which case, we'll provide the classic UI so you can do these, so you can use these features. These include the advanced report generator where you can manage your reports. It also includes the users and role management. And it also includes a different output for the comparison report, which Dorota talked you through earlier. So for instance, in other formats such as CSV or RTF. And that's all from my side. We'll now spend, we'll give you 5 minutes to ask more questions. And then Dorota will come back to the table and provide some answers to the most frequently asked questions. So thank you.
Now I will answer some questions that you submitted. So firstly, about Biocides, there is a question: do I always need to create firstly all the component of the biocidal products and then the biocidal product dataset? So no, you can choose the most suitable order for you. So you can firstly create a mixture product dataset, or you can firstly create all substances dataset, and you can also, as I mentioned, edit it in the parallel. So this is the difference between classic UI and the web user interface. You can do it in parallel. The order is up to you. The other question about the biocides: what about SPC for families? So here we have two answers. If this question is related mostly to how to report SPC, meta SPC in the composition in the Euclid, the answer is that you need to use the biocidal product dataset to provide information about a family, and in the composition section you create one summary for each meta SPC and one summary for the whole family, and then for each product one composition record. And in the summaries you link all relevant products. We described it in details, this workflow, in the video tutorial that you can find on the Euclid website and on the YouTube ECA channel. And the second aspect of this question is if you ask where to prepare the SPC document, so summary of product characteristics, you need to do it in the SPC editor as previously. And the new thing is that SPC documents from the SPC editor are now automatically migrated to Euclid, so you can see it also in a Euclid, but you provide it in the SPC editor. What about active substance generated in situ? What should be the names of the substance provided there? We keep the same workflow for active substance generated in situ as the one explained in Biocides submission manual in Annex 2. So you need to create the dataset for each component. So for active substance generated in situ, for each precursor, for all byproducts, and then all those dataset are linked in the biocidal product composition in the way that is in detail described in the manual. So you need to report the initial composition before the active substance is generated. You need to report the composition of the technical active substance generated in situ, and also if you know disinfection by products. And more general question: if I start using the web user interface as well as the classic interface. Will the changes be saved to the same database? And if the data will be synchronized. So this is only one database. It's one Euclid software. You just see it in the different way through different interfaces. So whatever you provide in the web user interface, you will see in the classic user interface. All the changes done in both user interfaces are saved and can be accessible from both user interfaces. And the question about the report generator: are you considering the possibility to develop a function to export the information inserted into Euclid sections into the Biocide par to avoid duplication of work by the companies? We have partially developed a report which extracts Euclid data and outputs it into a par format. However, this work has been currently deprioritized. We plan to continue the work later in the year and make it available to Euclid user later in the year. So here I think I will finish the answering the most frequently asked question, and we will come back to the presentation. So in the last minutes of the webinar, I will tell you where to find more information. As in the top right corner of the Euclid dashboard, you can see the question mark. Under this question mark, we have the handy links to the Euclid website, to the FAQ, to additional information, and our video tutorials. Also, there is a possibility to go directly to the ECA website and create a support request. And as I mentioned before, there is a help system integrated in Euclid itself, and you can find it in different sections under the question marks. We kindly invite you to see our video tutorials that are listed on the under videos on Euclid website, and also to visit EU Chemicals, which is ECA's channel on the YouTube. For example, as referring to the one of the questions, we have the video tutorial how to create a biocidal product family composition in Euclid, which might be very relevant, and this video tutorial is made in the web user interface. We kindly invite you to our LinkedIn Euclid group, and we would like to make sure that the Biocides user can switch easily to the web user interface, as the classic interface is going to be phased out. Therefore, it is important that you use the new web user interface as much as you can. And also, your feedback will help us to successfully complete the switch from the classic user interface to the web user interface. And we kindly ask you to share your comments on the web user interface via the help desk. And also, we kindly ask you to provide us the feedback about today's webinar, so we could improve and we could provide you with the better webinars in the future. And with this, I would like to thank you for attending this webinar, and thank you very much for the participation.